Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this 5-panel fancy fold card. Isn't that gorgeous? I saw this idea on Pinterest, a card made by Debbie Henderson, who's a demonstrator in the US, and she made hers about 4 years ago, or at least the one I saw. I don't know whether she's updated or not, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. So many thanks for the inspiration, Debbie. I will give you a link to Debbie's blog. She does do some really lovely work, beautiful projects. So I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces that you're going to be needing. So Highland Heather, which measures 10.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And I will put the metric measurements below. And 2 pieces of designer series paper. I'm using Snowflake Splendour, and these should measure 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And then you need 2 pieces. This bit is optional and I'll explain as I go along. 2 pieces of computer paper that measure 3.25 inches by 5.25 inches. 2 pieces of designer series paper that measure 1.5 inches by 5.25 inches. You need 2 of these shapes that have been die cut using the stitched nested dies. The Whisper White has been die cut using die number 7, the smaller one. That is smaller than the 2 that you're using, and that is the second to largest one, and the Highland Heather is in number 8, which is the largest die. Okay, so you need 2 each of those. If you don't have these dies, check what you have so that you can do something that fits in here. You will also need scraps of Whisper White for the snowflakes. Some are stamped and some are white. And if you want to use your Stamparatus to do your stamping, to do your sentiments, to make sure they're nice and straight, you also need a die cut of scrap computer paper using die number 7. So first of all, we're going to score our Highland Heather piece of cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I'll turn this one way and then the other way. So the first score line is at 1 3/4 inches, and then 3.5 inches, and then turn it around 180 degrees and score at 1 3/4 inches again, and then at 3.5 inches. Okay, now we need to do some pencil marks on here, but before we start, I think what we'll do is if we fold and burnish our score lines, and I recommend that you burnish them in both directions. The card does not fold up, and I'm not planning on doing anything to make it stay closed. I hope I said that right. Yes, it won't close. There are suggestions. You could use a belly band, make a belly band, but because there's a 3D snowflake on the outside, that's not going to be easy. You could use magnets, but if you are... one of the beauties of this, I think, is that you could use it and put a gift card inside there, or money, which is why you may want to make sure it does close. But if you're giving it to a child, the magnets isn't a good idea. I thought about all the options, and in the end I thought, well, it closes while it's in the envelope, and it's going to be open to stand up on the shelf, so that will be fine. By the way, this is what it would look like standing on your shelf, okay, and show you it does stand up, okay, but it looks really lovely. Okay, so I've done that, folded it this way, that way, and every which way. So what I need now is my pencil, and first of all you need to measure here at 5 1/4 inches. So I'm going to use my measure on the bottom of my grid paper. Now it is best if you've got a nice sharp point on your pencil, so you get a nice thin line. Let's turn that around the other way just to make sure. 5 1/4, and then you need to measure down on the inside score lines 1 inch on all four, so that's 1, 2, and then from the bottom and up there. Yes, on this one. Now, the reason I fold mine first is because it's a lot easier to get your pencil mark onto the score line, because it's that much obvious, that much more obvious. But it is important that your measurements are correct on this. Debbie does have a couple of downloads on her blog that show you score lines and things like that. Right, now this needs to be scored. If you have a piercing mat, do use that. I don't always bother about doing this because it's normally quite easy to do. Right, so that's the one there. I didn't do that very obvious, did I? But never mind, we'll get there. So I'm going to put my stylus right on that pencil mark. Then I know where my ruler needs to go. Right. There's that one. And then that one. Yep. That looks okay. So I need it from there. That's it. And then this one. And then the same the other side. It's worth taking your time over this bit just to make sure that you do get all your folds in the right places. There we go. Right. So what we need to do now is to fold those diagonal lines. And what you need to do is just fold them like that, so it they go against your fingernails. and then when you push that one in, it should come right down. So before you do it totally, bring this one in as well. You should be able to get that to come in like that. There we go, that's that one. Let's do this side. Again, use your fingernail to guide the fold along your score line. And then along that one as well. Oh, that one went really nice and easily. Let's try this one. That's it. Let's see if we can get these two to come in nicely. There we go. Let's come back. There we go. So you should find that your card is like that. Okay. So I do recommend that you do your best to try and burnish those folds as well. Okay. Now I am going to remove the pencil marks. This is normally the kind of thing that I forget to do. Okay. Now the two pieces that you can find on Debbie's website, and her website is Debbie's Designs 2009@gmail.com. She's done this for you to show you what this should look like once you've scored it, and that measurement there should be 5 1/4. I keep calling it 3/4 and I don't know why. I mean, it's half of 10 1/2. I mean, how difficult can that be? And then she's done this as well. If you download it, cut these out, and they are what fit onto there. But I don't know quite what I did, but mine didn't work out quite right. So I have done my own. And that is what these two pieces of computer... Oops, come back. These two pieces of computer paper are. What you need to do is you need to measure 1 inch there and there, 1 inch, and you need 2 of these. I mean, by all means try using Debbie's. It's probably something that I've done wrong. But equally, I decided to show you this so that if you ever came across a card and trying to work out how to work these bits out, you'll know how to do it. Now, where's my piece of paper? Oh, right. Now you need to measure 1 5/8 inches along there. So, using my grid paper, 1 5/8 and 1 5/8. And then if you could cut this on your trimmer, but I just do it freehand. Okay, all you need to do is just cut those two corners off. If you've got a nice big pair of scissors, that's just one straight cut. Right, so you've got two of these now. So the second one, you need to have it so that it looks like, oh, here we go. Okay, so that's one piece, and the other one you need to have it like this. So what I did for mine was I used my trimmer and I sliced this in half just by putting my point up there. Yep, I'm in camera. And then that point down there. And then on each of these, I moved this over to just about cover up that brown on this here, okay? So you can't see any of that brown. And then just make sure it's straight. Get your fingers out of the way. In fact, it's almost up to the 1/8 mark, isn't it? That looks straight. So there's that one. And then once you've got these, you can keep them if you want to make this card again. Okay, so you just cut off that little bit. So once you've got those, now I could have said you have these the same size as that, but I like to leave a little bit of leeway just in case. So you just pop that on there, draw around it and then cut around it. Again, you could use a trimmer to cut if you wanted to. Oops. Oops, moved it up a bit, wasn't really on the paper. Let's try that again. And then this one. You can choose which part of the design you want. In fact, I'm going to take that one right up to the edge. As long as I get my Highland Heather design in, I'm going to be happy with this. Oops. Right, I need the inside lines of that. There we go. Not quite so easy when your blade's not quite long enough to get you right to the end, but it's doable. There we go, there's those two. And obviously remove the pencil marks if you've got any visible, which I have loads. There we go. And just make sure they fit in, okay. Yep, that's good. It was a bit too difficult for me to try and work out how to do the white layers as well. So I kept with just these. Debbie had the one layer and her card looked beautiful, so I wasn't worried about not being able to do it. As I say, do try and take the pencil marks off. Now I just do that. Or did I just cut them off? No, I didn't cut them off, did I? There we go. So if you ever need to do a shape, funny shape, you know how to do it now. Okay? Right, there we go. That's all of those. So I'm going to put these in. To write a greeting, I would use the back here, because then when it's standing on the shelf, nobody's going to see that bit. I didn't bring my silicone mat over, did I? Okay. We have one now. Actually, I didn't use a directional pattern, which I do normally, so that I can find out if there's any pitfalls. Can't think what design Debbie had used. The design she did was stars, as in the, you know, the star that I call like the nativity star with long points. There we go. When I first saw this designer series paper and looked at all the designs, I thought, oh my goodness, how on earth am I going to use some of those? But it's turned out to be brilliant. I'm well halfway through. Oh, I haven't taken all my pencil marks off. I'm more than halfway through my pack now. There we go, there's that one. Where's the other two pieces? good. It all comes together really quite quickly. Ribbon was another idea that I thought about to close the card if you wanted. And what I would do there, if you wanted to do it, is I would just have a piece that fitted all the way round, but adhere it just underneath this. It's got to be loose because the card needs to have all that space to open up. But that would work. There we go. That design series paper is really lovely. It's beautiful. Right, okay, now what we need to do is some stamping. So what I want to do first, let's do these two. I have done them ahead of time, both of them totally finished. So let me just show you, if you're using your Stamparatus, which is the best thing ever. Right, so this is the one for the inside, that one there, and that is the one for the outside. Now I'm going to do this one to show you how I did it, because it means taking it off really. Okay, I'm going to put that upside down. So now this is computer paper and it has been die cut to match that size. So what I did was I put that in there, lined this up where I wanted it. Now let me just bring this down a bit closer to me. Okay. And then when I was happy with that, let's just put that, make sure it doesn't move. Okay, so that looks in the centre. That looks sort of straight. Let's give it a go. And then move that out of the way first, and I put that in just to see if it's straight. And what colour am I using? Highland Heather. No, that's not quite straight, is it? Okay. So we'll use the chamois to get this cleaned off. And what is it? So that's it, that needs to go up. Okay. So I'm just going to eyeball this so it goes up very slightly. Let's try that. It looks as if I put it straight down on it, doesn't it? It's got another clean corner. Oh, that's better. There we go, that's really nice and straight now. So now that that's done, I can pop that in there, hold it in place, ink my stamp, and stamp. Want it a bit darker? Yes, I think so. Ink it up, stamp it down. And there we go, beautiful. Okay, so that's how you can line up your Stamparatus with your different shapes and what have you. So that's that one done. Let's move that one out of the way. And now I need to stamp my snowflakes. So I don't need that base. I need the thicker base. And my piece of paper. I don't need those. Don't need that one. Okay, so what I did next was I put my 2 snowflakes up there. There we go. It is easier when you're stamping with the Stamparatus to have a stamp set underneath. If you don't have one of these, put it on your Christmas list. Ask somebody to get you one. You'll be so pleased that you did. And so speaks somebody who was never ever in favour of stamp positioners. But ours is absolutely fantastic. All the extra bits and pieces, because it's open at 2 sides, this is one of the things that makes this really very, very special. Another thing that makes it really special is the fact that these come out. I'm not concentrating here, am I? Fortunately, I've done all my snowflakes, so that's better. Bit heavy, but never mind. Okay, so they need to be die cut. That's finished. Don't need that again. And I'm running out of space here. So I need to die cut those, and I need to have some die cuts here. I've got a cable that's slightly hanging down from my camera and it keeps touching my head. It's a little bit off-putting because it's it feels as if it's like a spider up there. Not a nice feeling. Right, there we go. Oops, oh you silly person. I just put my finger right in my ink. This is why I like to keep a towel on my chair, so that my frequent accidents can be cleared up quite easily. Right, so there's this, these, and the star, the snowflakes rather, are from the So Many Snowflakes dies, and it's Snowflake Wishes, which I think I've got here also. Yeah, okay, so that's where the stamps are from. And the sentiments are both from Yuletide Pasture. I've used the Happy Christmas and Wishing You Peace Now and Always. Right, so which one is this? No, that's that one. That's it. Now I'm going to have to use post-it notes to hold these in place. And then this one. That one looks a little bit heavy with the ink because I kept missing that one bit, but it doesn't matter because most of that's going to be covered up anyway. There we go. Let's see how close I was with that. Oh, not bad at all, look at that. Not bad at all. Right, So it's not much good to have that. Let's pop those two dies back. I have the white, and I have these two. And there we go. I should have run that through twice, but we'll see. No, maybe not, that's fine. I wonder all the bits are out as well. So that's pretty good. Right. Push out those little bits which are not needed, and then we push these out. Oh, that came out even easier, look at that. Okay, so those two dies can go back over there. Keep that, it's got some spare. That can go there. Right, so I'm going to do this one because I've done that round the wrong way, haven't I? Never mind. What I have done ahead of time is I've already done that one, which is the one for the front, and I've done that, which is for the one that's on the inside. Okay, so that only needs to be stuck onto the Highland Heather bit. But let me just show you how I did the snowflakes. Right, on the front, I just put glue in the centre bit, and then I put the first white one, the big white one. Again, I only did the centre bit, but on this one I lined it up. Oops, that's coming out quite thick. Have I got a piece of spare paper? I'll use one of these. Right, these pointy bits I line up on here, and what happens is those two smaller pointy bits, they go into those double leaves there. If you're happy with totally random, you just go for it. It's just I wanted to have the two white snowflakes to go on top of the two stamped ones. Okay, so this one I'm just going to do a little bit in the middle. I won't squeeze too hard. And then those Highland Heather bits just go in between the other Highland Heather. And then this one again, that's come out quite heavy. Let's just get that a little stamp on there. That just blots off the worst of it. Now this one again, I line this up on here. First of all, I do the centre bit onto the centre there, and then I make that come up the centre of each of those. When I did the one on the inside of the card, I actually put glue behind all of these bits, but I wanted the 3D effect on the front. Okay, so that's how I did that one. Now I'm going to pop this onto here. side. I think that's straight. Just put it over a little bit. There we go. So that's the one inside. I don't think there's a right way or wrong way for my design at all. Nor that at this stage. Okay. Now this one, I need to have glue on this half. Okay. So what I'm doing, in fact I'm not going to use my grid paper. I'm going to be putting my glue south of those two pointy bits. I don't want to do it exactly half. There we go. Now if you close that, you should be able to put the two pointy bits in the centre. And as long as you've got your glue in the right place, you're not going to get glue where you don't want glue to be. Let's move that one out a bit. I think that's okay. Is that straight? No, it isn't. That's better. Okay, now on this one I had some glitter enamel dots, which is great on the outside here, but I don't like putting glitter dots on the inside because I think it distorts the card. So what I've done there is I punched 1/4 inch holes in Pool Party, and then I put some of our fine tip glue over it and left it to dry. Well, that I don't think has come up quite as dark as these ones, so I've done some more, only this time I used Coastal Cabana, which is a darker colour. So what I've done for this one is, because this is Highland Heather, I've done some in Gorgeous Grape. So first of all, let me put the glitter dots on first. These are retired. So first of all, let me just... That's ready for another card now. Obviously I don't need it on this one. So this. First of all, I want a nice big one to go in the middle there. There we go. That looks quite a lot darker, doesn't it? So, what else did I do? I did some... Oh, right. I put it in the middle of Snowflakes on the other one, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that on here. I don't know. I wasn't sure that there would be enough on here to do it. But there's 3 there, that's fine. Let's do some over here. That's going to be covered up over there, isn't it? Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so for them, that one gets covered up anyway. But so that's what it looks like from the front. Oh no, looks like I've got ink on there. Okay, I need to do something to repair that. No, we know what we're going to do, don't we? We just use one of these. There we go. And if we do another one somewhere else, it's not obvious that I did it to cover up a... There we go. Nobody would know. Don't tell anybody, will you? So for in here, I've got my gorgeous grape ones that I've done. So... Oh. Okay, you want to come in? Put some glue down first. There we go. Now you're the blank. I need the other end, don't I? Right, okay. So that looks a lot better to the colour of that, don't you think? Can't really get the two together, but it is a lot better. So just very quickly, let me show you how I do that. I have elastic bands around here just to make it easier to open up. And then I just make sure there's no bubbles coming out first. And then I just put over, where's my piercer, just hold that in place. Just put one layer there. And then if you find, let me just pop this on quickly before it dries, there we go. If you find this leaks around the outside, move it out of the way. Can you see? Yes, you can. See that glue there? That's because I had one of these here. It's probably that one, I imagine. And if I'd left it in that glue, it would have finished up with like a clear snowflake type thing around the edge, which would need trimming off. So I just moved them all out of the way. That one obviously took quite a lot of time, but that one's fine. It hasn't gone into a puddle. So that's how I do those. And I think that is probably my project for today. I hope you like it. I think it's absolutely stunning. Many thanks for the inspiration, Debbie. Your card is gorgeous. Really love it. But as I say, it will not close permanently. It will go into one of our standard envelopes. And I imagine that Debbie chose the size so that it fits into the American envelope, because the American envelope is 5 3/4 inches this way, where ours is 6.5. But it's nice because it gives us plenty of room for the bulk. Okay, so there we go. Many thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always interested to hear what you have to say, and if you need any help, I'm always happy to answer your questions. In the box below, I will put all the measurements and the products that I've used. I will also put the metric measurements as well. I will put a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. And if you do place an order with me, please remember to use my HOSTESS code for the rest of November. This is the number. There will be a new one for October, which you'll be able to find on my blog. And if you use the HOSTESS code, it means that when I send you Happy Mail at the end of that month, I will be able to send you some new product as well. And finally, if you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner, and then click on the bell so that you get the notifications. Many thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next time, and in the meantime, please take care and stay safe. Happy crafting. Cheerio.